to another episode of Garage Fever by Krieger. Today, I have Big Green here, and it has a little bit of an issue. It cranks but doesn't start, so I'm thinking it's fuel related. The fuel pump just got replaced on this about 3 weeks ago, so I'm hoping it's not the new pump out of the box, but we're going to diagnose and troubleshoot a little bit, and we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I got the hood open now. Inside sits a big block 455 Oldsmobile, and on top of that, it has a 4-barrel Rochester Quadrajet carburetor. Basically, I think this is fuel related because hardly ever does the HEI systems go bad on a GM. But I have had some issues within the last year and a half with fuel getting to the carburetor, and every time I've just swapped the fuel pump out, and it's went through 3 fuel pumps in a year and a half, which I think is kind of excessive, but I do drive it a lot. So basically, I just want to start at the carburetor and work my way back. It could be anything from that filter that sits inside the carburetor housing being plugged, or maybe the brand new pump out of the box that got put on about 3 weeks ago. Could be bad, but I really don't want to think it's the brand new part I put on there. So I have some methods of maybe trying to blow some air back through the lines to see if maybe there's just a little blockage keeping the pump from pulling from the tank. So let's go ahead and dive into the carburetor side of it and see what we find. All right, we're going to pop the air cleaner off here. Set that off to the side. Basically, here's the 4-barrel carburetor right here. Basically, all I'm going to check for is to hear if the accelerator pump is spraying fuel into the carburetor. That's a pretty good indication. If you don't hear any fuel, that obviously you got a fuel problem. So if you actuate this, all I hear is just the mechanical mechanisms triggering when I hit the throttle blade. I don't hear any spraying of fuel. So with that, I know the bowl is totally dry in this carburetor. So we know that we aren't getting fuel here. So now we got to work our way back. So what I'm going to do next, I'm not going to pull that filter apart just yet. I'm going to take the fuel line off going to the pump from the tank to see if there's any evidence of fuel in that line. All right, so now we're back at the pump here. So basically you have an inlet 3/8 fuel line that goes into the pump. And then you have a, I believe, 1/4-inch line that returns to the tank, whatever can't be sent to the carburetor. So with that, I'm going to pop this inlet line off and just see if there's any evidence of fuel running out of the line. If there is, then maybe there's a blockage in between this and the carburetor. But if there's no evidence of fuel in this line, then the pump is not drawing it from the tank, and that's either due to the pump being bad or there's a blockage in the line. I'm just going to loosen this clamp here. Give it a wiggle. And it looks to be absolutely bone dry. No evidence of fuel whatsoever. So this either means the pump is bad or there's a blockage in the line. So let's try to blow some air or some fluid back through the line to see if it freely flows. The first thing that we're going to try just to identify if we have a blockage or not in the line is you could use compressed air first for this, but I don't have a compressor that's readily available. So what I want to do first is just use some Carb Clean, a fresh can of it, because this is pressurized. And I just want to see if the fluid flows freely through the feed line, or maybe if there is a restriction, it'll blow it out of the line and it'll clean it at the same time. So let's go ahead and do that now. What I'm going to do, I got a rag here. Go wrap it around the end of the hose. I'm going to put that carb cleaner spray down in there, and I'm just going to hit it. Now, I did hear it bubble in the fuel tank back there. I heard the gas actually bubble up back there, so I don't think there's a blockage in the line, or if there was, it is now free and clear, because all the fluid has freely passed through the hose. Now that I identified that I'm pretty sure this line is free and clear, the supply feed line to the pump, what I'm going to do is, since I back pressured it, I'm going to hook it back up to the pump, and then I'm going to manually fill the carburetor up with some carbon choke clean, at least the bowl, just to get it primed and see if the fuel pump starts picking up fuel again. If it does, then there's been a blockage in the tank, not allowing it to deliver fuel to the carburetor. So let's get this tightened up here. All right, basically what I'm going to do now is, you can fill your bowls this way right down through this tube. So I'm just going to spray it down in there and fill it up. That should be definitely good enough for a prime. So let's go ahead and hit the key. I'm sure it'll light off. It's just, will it pull a prime? Sometimes these fuel pumps, the diaphragm gets dry in them and it'll stop pulling fuel. So maybe if I prime the line with that carb cleaner, it might loosen up the diaphragm a little bit, even though it's brand new. Ignition is on and cranking. So we need to prime it a little bit more. That was probably entirely way too much. Okay. So it was just running off the carb clean that I sprayed in the carburetor. So with that, I think the pump may be shot. So there's one more thing I can do again, and it is, I'll remove this to see if any fuel got to it. It feels like this line might be pressurized now. So maybe there is a restriction in the filter. That could be very possible. So let me pop this fuel inlet hose off again. And if I got fuel up to the pump, then it's not the pump itself. There must be a blockage between that filter. So let's dig into that. So here we go. We're going to pop this off, and hopefully gas don't go spraying everywhere. Well, it'd be a good sign if it did. Bone dry. So that's telling me this pump is dead. But there's one thing that I can do to try to prime it manually. I can take this carb can spray, put it in there, and fill the pump up manually. So what I've done there, I filled the pump clear up. I put some more carb clean in the fuel line, just in case it does prime, it can start pulling something. And if it does pull, maybe it'll pull from the tank. So I got that snug again. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to refill the carburetor there. And we'll see if it pulls anything now. Again, entirely too much. All right. Well, we will pop this fuel line off one more time and determine if there's any fuel to the pump. If there's not, then that pump is either bad or there's a hairline crack at the rubber side of the tank, where the rubber line, the two hard lines are joined together with a rubber line, and they could have split, and it could be sucking air back there. So if that's the case, I'd have to replace that. But for today, I just wanted to see if it was the pump that was bad or not. So let's see if we can make that determination. Again, it's bone dry, so it's not pulling anything to the pump. So it's either the pump or it's sucking air from that rubber line from the tank back there. And one way that I can probably see if it was leaking is if what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some more of that carb clean back through there, and I'll look for a leak underneath the car in the back. And if I don't see any evidence of that, I mean, it could just be as simple as a fuel pump replacement or a rubber line replacement in the back. So I don't see anything that's leaking back here underneath the car, but I do have a strong odor of gasoline back here after backfilling that line. So maybe there is a hairline crack in the rubber line. It's just not bad enough to leak, but it's losing the prime to the system. So the next step for Big Green here is basically I'm just going to order another new fuel pump just to eliminate that variable. I may just end up changing the fuel filter in the carburetor again, and then I'll put some fresh rubber lines from the tank to the hard lines that's on the frame, and that should cure our fuel feed problem, I hope. So that's all for today's video, but I appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. If you continue to enjoy this type of content, please leave a comment, like, or subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you.